our CI Academy, Mr. Alok Bhaumik, to this event. The topic, of course, is very important in today's times. As I said, it's on BIM, building information modeling, digital twins, the extended reality, which is the culmination of AR, VR, all into extended reality, and the use of Microsoft Power BI in project management. These digital tools are transforming the way we work, changing the ethical frameworks in which we might have to deal with others, deal with our professional colleagues, deal with other stakeholders. And it gives us also a lot of opportunities in its wake. These digital tools give us a lot of enablement. There are, of course, the fears that some of us may not have jobs tomorrow, but that is, that is being a bit defeatist, as I would say. And it is to take the advantage of these tools and use them for the benefit of our work. So we have four excellent speakers today. Mr. Krishna Karwa, Mr. Varun Kumar Panchal, Mr. Suhas Bhagwat, and Mr. Tuhin Jana, all experts in their domains, in their independent domains, and they would share with us today their experience and deep knowledge, domain knowledge in their areas of expertise. So having said that, I want to say a few words that this is a follow-up of the CI Academy event that we had a year or so ago in Mumbai, and we are following that up, leading on with the use of these tools, digital tools and technologies in the interest of our consulting engineering profession. So from CI at large and CI Western Region in particular, welcome to this event. I hope you'll put all your questions in the question answer box, and hopefully not the chat box. Put them in the question answer box. There will be adequate time at the end for a question answer session. I think there will be some time for questions. Our moderator, I want to introduce our moderator too. Before we proceed, I will call on him to moderate the event. Charles Simos is a bachelor's degree from Vijaytia in Mumbai and an MTech degree in structural engineering from IIT Mumbai and a master's of financial management from the prestigious Jamnadal Bajaj Institute. And he's also a fellow of the Institution of Engineers. He was with TC for many years. He's now, and he's worked in Acre Solutions. He's got widespread knowledge in various sectors of our profession, oil and gas, in metal projects, in chemical process projects, in refinery projects, and he's worked in many countries of the world, in fact, in many continents of the world. Currently, he's an adjunct faculty at the SP College of Engineering in Mumbai. So welcome to our moderator, Charles Simos. I will now ask Alok Bhaumik to say a few words. Malsab, anything to add, Malsab? Otherwise, I will proceed.
Yes, sir, please proceed.
Anything you want to add? Okay. So, Alok, I want to introduce the chairman of our prestigious CI Academy, Mr. Alok Bhaumik. He's our chair, and I will ask Alok to speak a few words on the role of the CI Academy and what our vision is. Alok?
Thank you, Dr. Subbarao, and good afternoon to all. Welcome to this webinar organized by the Western Region Center on behalf of CI Academy. What I see is a very impressive lineup of eminent speakers who are going to talk about the subject. I'm here to give you all a bit of brief about our academy. The academy is basically an arm of CAI, which was formed about 2 years ago, 2023, and it was formed with the objective of capacity building of consulting professionals in India. The academy is dedicated to advancing knowledge, fostering innovation, and driving excellence in engineering consulting across India. Our vision is to be nationally recognized center of excellence in the consulting domain, and we provide training, education, and professional development opportunities to individuals as well as to organizations. Our mission is to empower engineers, consultants, and industry professionals with the latest tools, techniques, and insights which are necessary to navigate the very rapidly evolving landscape of infrastructure and technology. and this webinar is a step in that direction. We are coming out with very ambitious training modules in the very near future. We will have very soon very intensive online training courses on bridge engineering, on industrial engineering of structures, and on the highway DPR preparation, on soft skill development programs, project management training, and many others. Uh, we are collaborating with many institutes and the FIDIC Academy and promoting various FIDIC certification programs, which are of immense value to the consulting industry professionals. I think with this very brief introduction to CAI Academy, I would like to hand over this virtual floor to Dr. Harshavardhan Subarao.
Thank you, Alok.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alok. Prashant, our president of CI, I think he might be the youngest president of any such a group worldwide. As you know, we are an arm of FIDIC in that sense, and FIDIC is in most countries of the world, and they are very, very key documents of FIDIC which govern contracts. So Prashant is not only our president, but he's on the global apex body. He represents at the highest level in our professional space. So Prashant, over to you. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Subara. Thank you for those very kind words and kind introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, depending on different time zones that you may be joining us from today. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this highly relevant and a very forward-looking webinar on BIM, Digital Twin, XR, and Power BI in project management, a confluence of technologies that we are not just transforming our industry, but redefining the very way we think, plan, and deliver infrastructure and development projects. And I'd like to thank the Western region of CAI for organizing this webinar today. As the president of the CAI, I'm honored to address you today and share a little about who we are and what we stand for. CAI is the apex body of consulting engineers in India, representing the collective voice of the professional consulting engineering industry. We are a proud member of FIDIC, the International Federation of Consulting Engineers, and through our work, we aim to promote professionalism, ethical practices, innovation, and excellence in the engineering consulting domain. Our mission is simple but powerful: to uphold the dignity, integrity, and interest of consulting engineers and to foster a collaborative environment for knowledge sharing, policy advocacy, and industry development. Through platforms like today's webinar, CEI is committed to equipping professionals with the cutting-edge knowledge and practical insights, ensuring that our community remains at the forefront of technological evolution. My colleague, Mr. Alok Bhaumik, has already spoken about the CEI Academy, so I will not like to dive much into that. But I'd like to say that it is a very important part of what we do, and strengthening and capacity building is the key for our industry going forward. And therefore, today's session is particularly important because we are focusing on BIM, building information modeling, digital twins, extended reality, and Power BI. Four distinct yet highly interconnected digital technologies that are revolutionizing project management, particularly in the built environment. BIM allows us to visualize and simulate every component of a building project before it is built, enhancing coordination and reducing costly errors. Digital twins take this a step further by enabling real-time monitoring and data-driven decision-making throughout the life cycle of an asset. XR technologies, spanning augmented, virtual, and mixed realities, are opening up immersive and intuitive ways to plan, present, and visualize and interact with project environments. And Power BI, with its robust data visualization and analytical capabilities, is empowering project managers to make faster, smarter decisions based on actionable insights. Together, these tools are not just enhancing productivity, they are shaping a more sustainable, transparent, and a collaborative future for the construction and infrastructure sectors. We are very fortunate today to have with us a distinguished panel of speakers who are industry leaders, technology experts, and practitioners who will be sharing us their perspectives, case studies, and experiences with us today. I encourage all of you to engage actively, ask questions, and explore how these technologies can be used in your day-to-day work. On behalf of CAI, I thank you all for joining us today, and I look forward to an enlightening and inspiring session ahead. Let us embrace innovation, let us build smarter, and let us lead the change. Thank you.
Very aptly put, Prashant. Thanks. That's very wonderful presidential address. Thank you. And that sets the tone to go ahead and to expect a really wonderful afternoon of knowledge sharing, and of course, the experts in the field speaking on their domain topics. Uh, can I call on Charles Simoes to take over as moderator for today's event? Thanks.
Thanks, Harsha, to Dr. Subbarao. Thank you very much. And I hope you can all hear me, right? And right. So just a few rules or whatever, not exactly rules, but some things just to shape the afternoon. Yeah, because we've got a big program ahead of us. We're trying to go to stick to time. When the speakers are speaking, if any of you have any questions, please put them in the chat. At the end of the presentation, each speaker would try to answer just about 4 questions before we move on. But all your questions at some stage would be addressed, right? So please go ahead. And we look forward to a very interesting and informative webinar. And all of you stay with us, please. We know we've got a lot of people from all over the country who have joined this webinar, and we are asking each one of you to stay with us right through this webinar, because each one, I promise you, is going to be one more interesting than the other, right? So with that, I will start by introducing our first speaker. He is Mr. Krishna Karwa. He is going to present. His title of his presentation is Transforming Construction with BIM. Krishna is a BIM coordinator with Texture Structures Nagpur and is a hands-on BIM professional with multidisciplinary experience. Over to Krishna. Since the time is limited, I'm not going through his full CV, which is there in the brochure, and I'm handing over to Krishna to go ahead and give us his presentation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Charles. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Have a happy good afternoon to you all. So basically, myself, Krishna. So we will just start with the presentation. So the topic is transforming construction with BIM, the future of digital building. Okay. So basically, if we review like what is BIM, so there are different kinds of what I can say definitions for the BIM. So basically, every consultant has their own definitions for the BIM. So basically over here, BIM stands for Building Information Modeling, digital representation of physical and functional characteristics of a facility, as well as it serves as a shared knowledge resource for information about a facility, forming a reliable basis for decisions during its life cycle of the main project, the service that we used to do. And compared to a traditional 2D CAD, BIM includes time of the project, cost of the project, and dimensions. So BIM evaluated from a long time ago. So firstly, in the 1970s, if we could see, that's a building description system, that is BDS. And then in the 1980s, building product model has been came, that has been also called as BPM. In the 1990s, there is generic building model that was GBM. And from 2000 onwards, we introduced with the building information modeling, that is BIM. Okay. So actually there are 4 main components of the BIM. So basically it's depends on people, policy, technology, and process. So if we see about the project process, so there are different types of standards, processes, procedures, and then lean managements for the design, project integrated services, and information management as well. Whereas for the people, there are le- leadership concerns, collaborations, owners engagements, skills and responsibilities of different types of leads, project leads who are handling the BIM. If we talk about the policies, then again there are different types of ISO standards, guidelines of the project, contractual and legal documents regarding the BIM, procurement of the beam, how it will be going, delivery plans, like how we are planning for the delivery of the project. Then there would be like technology, that is beam modeling, simulations, interoperability and integrations. So basically these components would be happening, and at last we can see that on the basis of 2D input, a 3D beam model has been created. On the slide I can show you that here each and every elements have been defined with it precision. What we can say, it was modeled with a big precision, so that data of the element has been captured into the beam, so that you can use it in the facility management project. So there are some concerns with respect to the beam, like what beam is not. So uh, people understands, consultants understands that beam is a software. So yeah, beam is just not a software, that's a process. Beam is a 3D model, no, it's way more beyond that is 3D model. Beam is a 3D CAD, no. Beam is a construction trend. We can say that it's trending right now in the India as well, and as well as in the international. Some governments have mandatory for the beam, but again we can say that if we don't go with the construction trend, then again beam needs to be followed just to save the time cost of the project. So the next is like beam is only for a big projects. So it's absolutely not. There are like different types of projects, different types of usability, I would say, for the beam. So it's differ from condition to condition. Like usually the client does not need to know what beam is. They only want the building, just because they think that beam is too complicated, beam takes more time. It's not that much complicated, because every discipline has been divided into different persons. Okay, and beam takes more time. So yeah, in the starting it might take some time to understand the process, but once you get handy with that, it would be more easier than any other process, I would say. So leveraging BIM beyond 3D modeler. So over here we can see that improved accuracy and design intent communication from office to the site. Okay, so basically anything that you will have to convey, that would be conveyed through the CDE platform. Enhance stakeholder coordination and knowledge transfers. A reduction in change orders like on-site clashes. So if any clashes were found into the document, we generally used to resubmit the another document on site, so that that clash can be resolved. Better life cycle management and insights for a future innovation. So BIM models are not just digital representations of geometry, they are comprehensive data environments as well. So they store critical information like materials, elements, procurement status, financial data, and logistic details of all the projects, of all the elements of the projects. Now into the BIM, we can see that there are some smart libraries and catalogs into the BIM. Whereas BIM enables the use of these predefined catalogs or libraries, which contains the intelligent components like door, windows, furniture, MEP equipments. There are several more elements as well. So we can use these elements directly into the BIM model. These elements comes with the embedded data like such as size, material, manufacturer information, performance specs, making design and contribution coordination faster and more accurate, I would say. So basically in the image you can see over here that there are some smart family browser. So this can be identified while modeling the 3D model into the beam. So we can use pre-defined like elements, for example chair, table. Already information has been set up into this particular element, so we can directly use these elements into our model, and we can define our what we can say specifications into that. So the question is like why library matters? Because standardization across models and teams, because the element which I am using, the same element can be used by some different consultants, and which can be used and the same can be used in a project execution. Reduce modeling time and improved efficiency. So every time I don't need to like model each element, particular table chair. I will just took these elements from the smart libraries and import into my BIM model. Easy updates and replacements with real-time data, supports facility management post-construction. That is more important over here. So discipline specific modeling with central coordination. In the image over here, you can see that in the center there is an integral model, and it is substituted with the electrical architecture, structure, water supply, sewage, ventilation and condition. There would be HVAC, there would be fire models. All the models, there can be a ID interior designing model. There should be like facade models. This can be integrated to create a federated model over here. So in the BIM workflows, each discipline like architecture, structure, MEP, etc., develops and maintain their own dedicated model, ensuring clear boundaries and accountability. Okay, so like while team cannot edit models from other disciplines, all models are federated into a single coordinated environment. And what this approach ensures, like clear responsibility and version control, reduce conflicts and overlapping work, seamless multidisciplinary coordination, and accurate clash detection and issue resolution. Then there are some Ds. Some Ds, like there are 7 Ds right now into the BIM dimensions, I would say. The first is CAD drawing, that is 2D. The geographical model, that is only the 3D space. Okay, so the another D is 3D. Then there is a 4D, which means construction schedule, in which I can see planned versus actual of the construction while executing the BIM modeling. And while with the help of BIM model while executing my site. Then there is again 5D, which is respects to the cost estimation. So I will again track actual versus planned cost. Then there is a 6D, that is energy analysis and simulations, I would say. And then the 7D, that would be facility management. So these are the 7 Ds in the BIM dimensions. Now, if we talk about the BIM life cycle, this covers entire project, like from concept to decommissioning of the project, while like from concept to BIM modeling and then executing on the site. When we are in the design stage, we used to go with the detail modeling and the coordination within the different consultants. Then we can come with the construction stage. Another Ds would be a work over here, like scheduling, clash detection, and logistics. And if we come with the operations and maintenance, so then there is a asset tracking, facility management, and many more. So if we look about the BIM modeling process over here, the life cycle of the BIM. So if we start with the designing, so over here you can see that there is a conceptual design. After that, we will take a detailed design of that particular project. Then we will like analysis the project, how it's going. We will model that project into the BIM. We will coordinate with all the services, and then we will be creating the GFCs of those coordinated services in the drawing form, coordinated drawing form, that would be called as documentation. And then we will start execution the same on the site, that will be coming into the build. So build contains the fabrication of the site, construction logistics, construction's 45Ds, and then while operating those buildings, we come into the operations and maintenance, and again with the renovation and furthermore. If we talk about BIM software ecosystems, so there are many softwares right now in the 2025 era for the BIM. Mainly in the market, Autodesk is covering its own uh, what we can say tools. So here key tools are like Autodesk Revit, Navisworks, BIM 360, ACC, Tekla, ArchiCAD. There are many more, etc. Okay, so these tools support modeling, coordination, and collaboration across the disciplines. Interoperability ensured via formats like .ifc formats, .rvt formats, .dwg for seamless data exchange. So over here, you can see that different types of softwares are there into the BIM, which we use to create a BIM model and for the whole BIM process. So in the center, you can see the icon of Revit. In the below, there is a Navisworks and many more. So as per the consultants, as per the requirement, we use different softwares to execute the project on BIM. Now, if we talk about the benefits of BIM, so basically improved team collaboration through centralized models, as I've already said, like different consultants, different teams are using their particular disciplines, and we are working on those particular disciplines model. Like MEP guy is working on the MEP. Even in the MEP, HVAC guy is working on the HVAC. Fire guy is working on the fire, and plumbing, so on. Automated clash detection reduces rework and error. Cost control through early stage analysis and scheduling. And enhanced visualization supports better decision making. So over here you can see on the screen, this is a Navis view to detect clashes. This is an automated clash detection tool from the Autodesk, that is Navisworks, on which we can provide the tolerance into the project. I can review my project after a 3D modeling, and I can see the clashes that has been popped up into my BIM model while execution. Okay. So like when we run like Clash Run into the beam, in the left image, you can see that some of the ducting or chill water pipes are clashing with the uh, plumbing pipes, I would say, or it can be a fire pipes. Okay, but now I have to resolve. I can make a up and down over here, and I can make it clash free on the site. But in the right image, if you can see, we have to set a priority. There are some standards priority between the disciplines over here. So in the left side, if I put an up and down to the pipes, it will cost me more. Whereas on the right side image, you can see cable tray, which is going from above the pipe. So basically it was clashing with the pipe. So what I had done, we have just up and down the cable tray services, so that it will not cost me that more, and my pipes will go straight. So if we talk about the clashes, there are mainly three types of clashes into the beam. The first one is called as an hard clash. Hard clash means something that is clashing directly with another element. Like for the example, HVAC duct intersecting structural beam. Beam is clashing with the door. Beam is clashing with the windows. In the soft clash, there is like a structural column in the trajectory of a door. That it's not actually a clash, but I can unable to I'm unable to open that door in front of the column. Okay, so it's an objective, so something that obligations has been came. So that would be called as a soft clash. Then the third one is like logistic or temporary clash. So like in the example I have given, like temporary scaffolding blocking main access point. So basically, if while executing this site, if uh, something that is covering to the main element, I would be unable to use that particular element, and hence it can be called as a temporary clash over here. So this is how clash matrix run into the beam. Like over here, if you can see on the x-axis, there has been disciplines mentioned: architectural, structure, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. And also on the y-axis, the same has been mentioned. So over here, you can see that when we are making a clash matrix, first of all, we will be clashing with architectural and architectural, interdiscipline, architectural, and then structural, then architecture with HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. Same when I come with the structural, I already had a clash with architecture and structure in the first row itself. That's why I would not be considering this over here. And then structure would be like testing with the structure, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and accordingly many more services over here. So in the real world case study, uh, for the project that is commercial high-rise development, BIM is like using at high level. BIM strategy, that early coordination using the Revit plus Navisworks. There are again different kinds of softwares available in the market, but usually we use Revit and Navisworks from the Autodesk. Challenges: there might be design conflicts, delay in the risk. What the solutions would be there, like clash detection, 4D simulation, and that will result us in 12% up to 12% cost saving and 18% faster delivery of the particular project. But if we look after the beam benefits, there are some other numbers as like here you can say that up to 57% better cost control and predictability of the project, 69% reduced error in construction documents, whereas 71% increased efficiency through collaboration between the different consultants, disciplines, I would say. So BIM coordination workflow, like in these integrated models from architecture, structure, MEP, then we will like run a clash detection or via Navisworks or in the ACC, we can track these issues as an RFIs, request for information, in the cloud-based CDE platform. For example, like workflow using BIM 360, which is an Autodesk tool for the coordination module. So I have attached some snapshot over here for the issues. So in the left side, you can see that there are issue status, type of the issue status, that is a draft, open, pending. So what it is, if we look about the description, if my issue is in the process of being defined, it would be called as in the into the draft. If my issue is an active and require attention, I would open that issue particularly. If I'm waiting for some consultant to respond on that particular issue, then it would be coming into the pending part. Whereas if I received any solution from the consultant, that would be into the in progress. And when the BIM consultant completed with that issue, when the BIM consultant resolve that issue, it would become comes into the completed part. Accordingly, there are another more types, that is in review, not approved, in dispute. And after that, once this issue has been approved with all the consultants, we can close this issue, so that fully addressed and no longer active. So in the right side, there are again different types of what we can say filters that we can use while creating a issue. So in the edit type, you can see over here in the right bottom image, there are different types of uh, uh, liners on which we can add the information: title of the issue, status of the issue, what is the type, is it from the MEP, is it from the structure, is it from the architecture, description of the issue, whom I am assigning that issue to, is it the organization, is it the particular consultant name, who will be the watchers for this issue, what is the location of that issue. I can write the floor, I can write the grids, I can write the location with respect to the project aspects. So while update issue status, the required fields are complete. Do you want to set the issue status to open? We can again, like while executing the project, if I thought that there is some kind of issue, I can just create a draft for that. And then accordingly, once I complete the BIM model, if I got that this issue is still not resolving with the BIM consultant, I can put that draft issue into the open. So this is the kind of issues. If we talk about the BIM standards and guidelines, so BIM standards are basically depends on the ISO 19650, that is global standards for BIM information management. The second one is BEP, like BIM execution plan outlines modeling strategies as responsibilities, whereas there is a LOD, that is stands for level of development, which ensures model clarity and progression. So if we look after the BIM standards, that is ISO 19650. So ISO 19650 is again divided into the six parts. The first one is like concepts and principles, which was released in May 2018. Second part is delivery phase of the assets, that was released in 2018. Operational phase of assets, that is still released in 2020. Information exchange is in still development phase. Whereas security minded approach to information management, this was released in 2020. And the last one, that is health and safety, it's again in the development stage. If we talk about the BIM execution plan, so the BEP is a document used as a tool to provide a standardized workflow and general guidance for strategic BIM implementation for a particular BIM project. So if we like everything would be planned while executing the BIM project. So for the in the BAP, there are main five objects on which we used to focus more. That is initiation, in which define goals and the uses, delivery strategies. Into the planning, I would say project standards, methods and procedures. While executing on the beam, manage the response, who will be the responsibles, milestones, deliverables as per the plan. What is the controllable plan, that is capability, capacity, IT resources. And then closure of the project, that is project processes, delivery plan. And if we come on the BIM LOD, that is level of detail, level of development, so there are total five total 6, and also as per the project aspects. So standards are like LOD 100, 200, 300, 350, 400, and 500. So if we look after the LOD 100 stage, that is pre-design. So in the bottom image, you can see that how does that pre-design looks like. In the 200, that is a schematic design, how LOD 200 looks like. In the LOD 300 design developments, you can see that some color has been came, material has been came to that particular element. While LOD 350 construction documentation, I am creating a GFC. So right now I have shown that uh, how it should be placed on site. And then on the LOD 400 construction stage, you can see that exactly how it will be looking on the site. And after LOD 400, there is a LOD 500, that is an as-built. So we will again re-update this as per the element executed on site. So now if we can talk about the challenges in BIM adoption. So obviously, like, there are some cultural resistance to digital shift. Many people like are working into the CAD, and they think like they think like it would take more time to convert into the BIM. But eventually, if we convert into the BIM, it will be like more handy to work into the BIM culture. High learning curve, need for ongoing training, managing large data volume efficiently, software cost and licensing complexity. Because like there are again different types of software into the market. We will have to do research for these, and there are definitely many BIM softwares like available into the aftermarket. So if we talk regarding the associated technologies with the BIM, that is RFID, GPS, cloud, BIM servers, but the associated issues with it, that is abilities uh, of the person, contracts, insurance, standards of the BIM. But what is pushing government requirement? It's basically more into the internationals, usually client demands. And what is the pool? Pool is for the better operations, faster delivery, and the life cycle. Uh, so if we look after the future of the BIM, so obviously integration with AI, Internet of Things, and digital twins for real-time monitoring, AR, VR for immersive design and review experience, support for smart cities and sustainable constructions. Uh, Over here in the image, I would like to explain you regarding the digital world. So uh, at the left side, you can see that as designed model, there is a 3D in which data and document has been acquired, which has been exchanged with the as-built model. That means I have converted a drawing into the BIM, and then coordinated BIM model. With the help of coordinated BIM model, we have executed the site, and again I am exchanging that data which has been executed on site into the BIM model, so that everything should be on a same page, single page. So that is like concept design, construction, operation and maintenance, and end of life. Whereas structured interpolable table again says this, if we go with the digital twin, that is another world for like digital world plus physical world of a particular project, in which there would be machine learning, predictive maintenance, analytics of the projects, and operational data. So over here,
Krishna,
yeah,
Krishna, I just like to remind you, you're giving a very interesting presentation, but I just like to remind you, can you wrap up in the next 5 minutes, please?
sure. Yeah. So basically, in the image you can see over here. If I converted the BIM model, I can review that by capturing a VR. I can capture every moment before proceeding with the execution of the site. Over here, I can calculate the dimensions. I can predict the places what I am planning for, and many more. So yeah, we are over here with the Q&A sessions. But before this, I would like to showcase you one video for the BIM. Uh,
The BIM Minute. Not so long ago, building a world of harmony came.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Are we able to see the video?
I think it has stopped somewhere. I don't think
Okay,
it's
okay.
moving forward. One sec.
Yeah,
Let's press the play button.
yeah.
Okay.
Not so long ago, building a world of harmony
Okay, I guess there was no voice in the video. Actually, voice is there in the video, but maybe audience was unable to like hear the voice.
So,
Yeah.
okay, then, Krishna, is your presentation by and large over?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is over. Like
Okay.
right now we are at the Q&A sessions. I just
Okay.
require one more minute for this
Okay.
slide. So we welcome
All
your questions. So here are some questions for the start. Like, is BIM only for the large projects? Obviously not. We can start with the small
Yes.
scale projects as well to
Yeah.
coordinate all these services and disciplines. What softwares is best for beginners? So basically in the market, Autodesk softwares are right now trending. So basically we can use Revit, AutoCAD for to proceed with the BIM. And how can we get certified in BIM? So there are different what we can say institutes available in the market. For example, Novater, Technostruct, who are like providing a certified BIM consulting. Uh, yeah, that's all. It's done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much, Krishna, for a very enlightening presentation. Yes, you really gave us a real insight into so many things about BIM. Now, like you told us about the catalogs, you told us about, each discipline preparing its own area of the model. And, even though it's combined, everyone has to work with very clear disciplines. I've got one question for you on behalf of everybody, which I'm sure is
Mhm.
a very, very burning question. And that is, see, what disciplines feel when they're working on this BIM is that they feel we are putting so much into this model, but what are we getting out of it? And one of the answers to that, which I'm going to answer myself, is that you can generate your 2D drawings, which are actually built for construction from the BIM model. Now, can you elaborate little on that? Because finally, all buildings, structures, whatever plants are finally built out of 2D drawings, right? So
Correct.
how those 2D drawings are extracted from the BIM model and what is the discipline to be used? Can you tell us something about that?
Yes, yes, definitely. So basically, once we receive the drawings from the consultants, there are many uh, what I can say coordination issues into the drawing, not with respect to the consultants aspects, but again, there are different services into the BIM project, I would say more specifically over here. But yeah, for the architecture and structure, if we talk, so obviously every beam should be aligned with the walls, every door should be aligned with the walls, beam should be aligned with the columns. So these would be the aspects I would say over here. And with respect to the MEP services, interior services, so over here, like pipings, HVAC services, which are used to get clash with the structural objects, which is enabling us to make a core cutout into the site while executing. So once I casted the concrete on site, it would be difficult for me to make a core cutout on site. And obviously, I have already spare money, cost, and many thing on that. And again, like I am core cutting that particular element. So I would say when we coordinate these services all with respect to the drawings received from all the consultants, we can create a coordinated drawing from the beam, and those drawings can be used for the execution on site, so that wherever I would be required cutouts, it can be feasible on the drawings that we are providing on site for the execution.
Okay, Krishna, there is one question come up from Suraj Kanta Chaudhary. He
Mhm.
says, can you shed some light on how to integrate scheduling and BIM?
Correct. So what happens over here, when we model an element into the beam, we can calculate the volume or the area of that particular element. So basically, if I what I can say, if I modeled a room, single room, so I can calculate the area of that walls. I can calculate the number of doors and elements that has been used over there. Even I can calculate the volume of the concrete for the columns and beams, so that for a large scale project, I can calculate in a single page for I can calculate the quantities in a single page for all those elements. Same would be for the MEP as well. Length of the pipe, fittings, and etc. As per the formatting, we can set the format into the BIM, into the softwares, and we can extract these
Okay,
schedules
thanks.
from that. Yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
I think we will generally wrap up, but before we wrap up this first presentation, I would just like to put across a few points. You know, there are a number of benefits of BIM, but I would just like to focus on a few points which come up again and again through surveys. One of them is improved constructability, what they call constructability. That is benefit on time, cost, and quality, which comes out from BIM because of the accurate set of documents which you get out of it. Then another one is improved visualization. If the visualization is not correct, we know what can go wrong in a project. So with a BIM model, the visualization becomes much more powerful. Then the third one would be improved productivity. Out of looking at that comes out of collaboration, basically, the improved productivity. Because now when we have a BIM model, we have everybody working real time on that model from all the disciplines. And that collaboration gives us an improved productivity. And these are just the 3 or 4 points I want. And the fourth point I would like to bring, of course, obviously, is reduced clashes. Potential clashes are picked up very early in the game, and they can be resolved again by collaboration with the disciplines. Okay, with that, I think I will summarize and say thank you, Krishna, for this wonderful presentation you have given us on BIM. And I think we will not really take up any more questions at this time, but I will move on now to the, thanks, Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
I
Sam.
will now
Charles,
move on to
Charles,
this.
one second.
Yeah.
Charles, one second. I just want to add a point to this wonderful presentation. Actually, projects are now being built in the world without any drawings. They're being built fully in 3D BIM and 4D BIM and 7D BIM as up to that, without any drawings and no paper, and sustainability is being addressed without any waste of paper and need for paper and wastage. So actually, it facilitates a lot. Adoption of BIM has a lot to do with sustainability as well. Very, very important contribution to sustainability.
But having said that, you know, Subbarao, what is very important is in all this, for my own experience, I will tell you, what is very important in all this is that you cannot break the link between a 3D model and a 2D drawings. If you are using 2D drawings, they have to be extracted from the 3D model. Otherwise, you've got disaster. And we've seen that happening time and again. And that's a very important principle which needs to be understood always, right? So
Absolutely.
with that, now we'll move on to our second speaker. And yeah, second speaker, as I said, is Mr. Varun Kumar Panchal. His presentation is titled Digital Twins in Construction Projects. Now, Varun is a project manager and involved with BIM, the digital engineering, for a company called Sangvi and Associates in Baroda. He has hands-on experience with various digital twins in India and overseas, and his detailed CV is there in the brochure. I'm not going to go through that. I'm handing over to you, Varun. Varun, can you take over and give us a very interesting presentation, I'm sure?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Charles, and thank you, CEI, to giving me an opportunity to get participate in this webinar and showcase my presentation about digital twins. So in the next, I'm going to share my screen. Just a minute. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes. Yes, we
Okay,
can.
I'm going into presentation mode now. Okay, is it the full screen visible now?
Yeah, it's visible. I mean, I could see it too.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so this is the presentation about digital twin in construction project worldwide. So for this presentation, there are contents like first is the introduction to digital twin. Second is concept and life cycle integration. Third is the digital twin in construction project, how it plays a role. Fourth is I do have wonderful case studies of digital twin. The first is the Doha Metro. The second is Hong Kong Airport, third runway. The third is Lusail Stadium. The fourth is the Kuala Lumpur MRT Line 2. Point number 8 is the benefit and ROI of digital twin, and 9 is the conclusion and future outlook. So first of all, introduction to digital twin. So what is digital twin basically? So digital twin is the very broad subject in current era. So a digital twin is a dynamic real-time digital replica of a physical asset or a system. So on one hand, we have a real asset or say a real physical building or XYZ asset. On second hand, we have a digital replica of those assets, and it connects data from real world to virtual model using sensors, BIM, IoT, and AI, and enabling continuous monitoring, simulation, and analysis. So my digital asset is connected with the physical asset in nutshell. And the concept is first developed by NASA, and digital twin technology is now transforming the AEC industry, helping teams improve design accuracy, number one. Number two is enhance construction efficiency. Number three is optimize operation throughout an asset life cycle. But the 4 point also that in current construction life cycle, the digital twin plays a big role nowadays. And by linking the physical and digital world, the digital twins provide insight for smarter decision, of course, predictive maintenance. This is a very good thing in large-scale infrastructure projects, and improve project outcomes. So project outcomes are really required when we are dealing with a large-scale project. The core component of digital twins are, first is a physical entity. The second is a virtual model that replicates as built or as designed characteristic, and real-time bi-directional data interface. So when we talk about digital twin, so there must be a data interface between physical asset and digital asset. So these are the labels here. The first is the BIM. So BIM is we are using for concept design, construction, and scheduling, etc. BIM plus simulation. So for facility management, operation, and estimation in level 2. In level 3, it is like a BIM plus sensor. So it's a real-time visualization, real-time monitoring on a site. The fourth is the BIM plus AI. So BIM plus AI for decision making and database prediction, dashboards and all. And digital twin, level 5. So digital twin is basically a control feedback, optimization, and interaction between digital assets and physical asset. The second image below is showing that how this technology works. So in a first instance, there is a physical entity, which is data, 3D design and documentation. It's a required data components from building information model. Plus, it's like a real-time operational big data. So big data here is the word that whatever data we're extracting from those database. So database comes from sensors and etc. etc. Some of the BIM data itself, some of the asset data, metadata, etc., which like a wireless sensor network, plus data integration and analytics. So it's a cloud-based platform where this all data interacting with the uh, 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 assets and all this. And this create a digital twin of the building. So mainly usage are predictive maintenance, improving of building operational and use life cycle, and what if analysis. So this is very good. What if analysis. For example, if this happened, then what impact will going on into the project? If this not happen, that what impact going to into this project? So AI in current trend is plays a wide role in predictive maintenance in a digital twin. Now this is the digital twin industry landscape. So digital twin, when we say digital twin, so it's like a bunch of softwares, not only one platform, but there are bunch of platform integration create a digital twin. So on top, it is like a solution provider, and bottom is the digitalization platforms. So these are the service provider. I'm not going to this, but this is just for your information. Like EC industry, there is a Bentley is there, Sunset, the Sol system now plays a big role in EC industry. Arvisio in building management, there are providers are there. In asset management, there are providers like a Bentley, Oracle, Aveva. In a digitalization, in terms of platform, there are surveying. So surveying DJI is there for a drone, Denso is there. For GNSS, a Topcon Leica. For a laser scanner, it's a Topcon Leica, Faro, Regal. For a mapping system, there is a Ashri, Hitachi is there. There is a few Chinese companies are there. In IoT, for IoT entities, there Japanese Panasonic is there, Sony is there. 3D CAD and building information, there is Autodesk, SketchUp, Graphisoft, Bentley. There is a company, Chinese company, ZWCAD is now plays a big role in Southeast Asia. For a point cloud data validation, Autodesk is there, Altium, ScanX, ArchiTwin, TwinCity. For a visualization, there is a Symmetry, Visio. For a 3D engine, which is very powerful for AR, VR, XR, and visualization for digital twin is Unity is there. Unreal gaming engine is there. NVIDIA is there, and cloud services are provided mainly for Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure. So this is the complete landscape of digital twin industry. Concept and life cycle integration. So what is the concept and how it integrate with the life cycle, asset life cycle. So here are the stages are there. So first is like a life cycle stage. So digital twin integrate across all stages, starting from design, planning, construction, operation, maintenance with seamless data flow opportunity. So whatever we are going to build asset in a digital form, or let's say 3D elements form. So that particular element having a number of attributes for a data population, which we call as a metadata. The second is the technology integration and how it integrates the technology each other. So first is the BIM on one hand at the very beginning stage. Then we have IoT sensor, AI analytics, and cloud platforms. And third is a real-time feedback loop. Now this is very, very important. Real-time feedback loop should be there for operating sensor data and analytics, predictive modeling, safety analysis, and real-time decision support. Now, digital twin in construction project. Now, what digital twin plays a role in current construction trend? So, like a project advantage, what is the advantage of it? So first is the single point responsibility. ease of digital twin implementation from concept to commissioning, since it is mainly initiative by client. Second is the design simulation. Now evaluate and simulate design, performance and scenario before physical works. Third is the construction monitoring and control. So monitor real-time progress. This is something I will show in case studies. Detect anomalies and generate update report automatically. So whatever reports are there, we no need to manually type and write report. It comes directly from the feedback loop. And operational readiness. So operational readiness like a facility management, system diagnostic, and long-term asset performance. Now, when we talk about large scale projects, so on first hand, we have a physical asset, but when construction finish and project has been handed over, facility management, it's a big headache if we don't have proper data sets available. So digital twin plays a big role into facility management and long-term asset performance. So long-term asset performance, like in many cases, we have asset, but we don't have any metadata associated with those assets. So in digital twin, we all gather and we put into our cloud server system, where everyone can see that and diagnose the life cycle of asset, that when this asset has been procured, when it was get commissioned, when it was runs start operation, what is the what is the corrective maintenance, what is the preventive maintenance, what are the predictive maintenance come from the digital twin platform. So these are the things for operational readiness. Now I'm showing some few case studies. So the first case study is the Doha Metro, which has been executed in 2015 to 2018 in Doha, Qatar. So a scope of application is the Doha Metro is particularly a large-scale rapid transit system with over 300 kilometers of track and multiple underground lines built as part of Qatar's infrastructure expansion. And digital twin application was used for tunnel alignment validation, MEP system integration, and real-time monitoring of construction progress and safety system. What was the benefit out of it? Implementing digital twin was we have achieved a 15% faster commissioning by enabling early issue detection and resolution, improved safety coordination across contractors and disciplines, and enable predictive maintenance, reducing operational risk and downtime. So what we have done during our detailed design, we gather all the digital information of those assets and we integrated those assets with a facility management tool called IBM Maximo, which is widely used for facility management. And then we checked whether these assets are operational, means are in operational stage or no. Means if once comes in operational stage, immediately how can we get the data sets from those assets regarding particular set of equipment, or means there are multiple set of equipments are there, but those directly integrate with the this IBM Maximo facility management tool. So we have all things like reducing operational risks and downtime, and we enable predictive maintenance started with the asset data. This is the case study during the construction. Now, when we digital twin plays a big role in a facility management, but digital twin also plays a big role during the construction itself. I am playing two videos, that how we use this digital model with the physical model, with the physical asset constraint. So here I am showing one simulation which has been created in a Navisworks to showcase these project managers that how this particular set of equipment will be go on a site at particular equipment room, because it was very difficult to put a particular set of equipment in a room. So there are Japanese contractors are there, and site execution team was clueless that how we put this equipment into the particular room. So we created one simulation and showcase all the site engineers and site managers that these are the procedures we have to follow to place a room inside a building. So this is a set of animation. And these are specially created structure, metal structure for one equipment placing inside the room. So all set of services here are physically executed on a site. So once we place equipment, there are some methods to be followed, that how this equipment gonna place, how it will going to place, and what are the methods, site teams to be followed. So this is one real-time simulation. The second one is for the same project, but different type of room it is there. So equipment comes from the track, goes to the cutout, lifted by the jack. And in terms of the safety, this particular equipment weight is about 4 ton. So in point of safety, it was very crucial to know that how we are going to lift equipment, what type of steel structure to be manufactured, what type of process to be followed. It is now showing dismantling of set of steel structure for lifting that equipment. There is also an issue that once disassemble the steel structure, where we are going to put this in this room. So that was also the constraint. Lifting jacks. Equipment has been lifted. Rollers has been removed. And equipment has been placed exactly at the spot. So this is one simulation, digital simulation of the process. In a next case study is the Hong Kong airport third runway. So the scope was the project is like a major expansion project of Hong Kong International Airport, including a new runway, taxiway, and terminal facility to handle future passenger growth. And digital twin application was deployed for construction sequencing, logistic planning, and environmental impact analysis. This is very crucial for this project, with real-time data integration for a better control. Outcome was using the digital twin was enable 24/7 remote monitoring and progress visualization across multiple teams, improved coordination and scheduling, reduced delays and rework, and delivered 12% cost saving through optimized resource planning and risk mitigation. Now, this Hong Kong third runway project was mainly to managing a crowd movement during a construction activity, use and get some optimization of digital models, that how each and every construction activity will perform on a site. So digital twin played a big role into this project. The third case study is the Lusail Stadium, which is a FIFA 2022 project inside. It's a like project overview. It's the iconic stadium built for FIFA World Cup 2022 with a capacity of 80,000, designed to meet high sustainability and operational standards. Digital twin application to integrate BIM with real-time systems like HVAC, lighting, energy, and crowd flow into a digital twin to simulate and manage stadium operation. Now, this is the requirement from the FIFA committee, that we have to provide them a cloud flow in a digital simulation before the tournament start to navigate that how the cloud will control, from where a crowd will enter, how will cloud will get access within, because there is a requirement that a person should enter in a stadium within 5 minutes. That person goes to on a seat, having a seat on a seat, particular assigned seat. So that crowd control was requirement from FIFA, and this is something has been done using this digital twin application. Benefit of it, like enabled event-based simulation for a safety, crowd management, and energy use. Even safety concern was safety was necessary into this project. So this simulation played a big role. Support predictive maintenance and efficiently facility management, and set a new benchmark for smart stadium in the region post-tournament. So Lusail is the stadium that is, there are two stages are there. One is tournament and one is legacy. So this stadium facility will transform in a legacy stage after the tournament. So that is called a smart stadium in for a region post-tournament. A fourth case study is like, this is something very interesting. It's a Kuala Lumpur MRT Line 2. Scope of the project and project overview is a 51 kilometer mass rapid transit line of Malaysia's largest infrastructure project. There are two projects are there, MRT Line 1, MRT Line 2. Digital twin widely used in MRT Line 2, involving underground tunneling and elevated tracks. Digital twin application used for TBM. Now, this is very, very interesting. TBM, tunnel boring machine tracking, and 5D BIM integration for cost and schedule control and visualization of construction progress. Now, when we say TBM, so there are 12 TBMs operational on a site for a tunneling, and Kuala Lumpur is a limestone geography. So, and each TBM almost on average works 60 meter underground. So it was very crucial that to monitor TBM process of those 12 TBM. So digital twin plays a big role, where we have integrated all the TBM loop into the ASHRAE mapping system, and those TBM, those data directly integrate with the map system. So whenever we also prepared one web application based on ASHRAE server, where anyone can get access to the web application and check the monitoring of each TBM, that how it is functional, what area the TBM has been covered, etc., etc. Plus, we have used for a 5D BIM integration as well. A benefit was 30% faster issue resolution through real-time data and alerts, because sometimes if TBM got stuck, then it gives a direct notification which has been notified to the tunnel engineers, and we can see on a web application that where the TBM gets stuck. Improved cost control, risk management with integrated 5D data. So on top of it, we had BIM models of stations and all, where we have integrated our 5D cost and timeline simulation with those models, and created a centralized asset database for a smoother handover to operation and maintenance team. So I'm going to play a video. It is showing a 4D 5D simulation with the physical model. So on the left, it's a plan. On the right, it's actual. And these are the timeline that each day, what progress has been going on, what progress in terms of percentage has been planned, what progress in terms of actual has been reported. So for a particular 31st March, plan was 48.45%. However, only 42.34% has been achieved. The major activity was excavation of those underground station impacted in this timeline, and it resulted a cost. So it impacted on a revenue. So revenue was 4.27 was a revenue targeted. However, due to this low progress, it got impacted. And here, these are overall progress, planned and actual. So planned is green, actual was blue. So these are all the impacted activities are there. For a launching facility got impacted due to this. Site preparation almost go equal. Preliminaries, retaining wall, all these other facility got impacted due to this delay.
Excuse me, Varun, I will
Yeah.
have to ask you to wind up as soon as
Yes.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the second is the case study of KVMRT line 2. This is the augmented reality, which has been developed to check with the physical assets and the digital assets using a iPad and integration of Unity and Revit models. So as you can see, all these colored items are digital assets, whereas this gray item is the actual site. So it's an integration of physical model and digital asset. Benefits and ROI of digital twin. So first is the real-time insight in terms of benefits and return on investment, like a real-time condition monitoring, enable faster and more accurate decision. Second is the digital design optimization. Early simulation will reduce changes order and construction delays. Third is the cost efficiency. Predictive maintenance and optimized operation result in a 20% reduction in a life cycle. We can predict well in advance, and we can make our procurement according to this predictive analysis. Improved safety. This is very important, like real-time tracking of hazard and risk hotspot leads to
Hello. Yeah.
improved asset.
Yeah, there's some interruption.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
so
was.
there is a power loss here. So
Okay.
sorry for
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and conclusion and future outlook. So in a summary of future trend, like digital twin are transforming infrastructure delivery through live connecting data for smarter, safer, and more sustainable outcomes. And AI enabled. Now, AI plays a big role in digital twin right now in a current trend, that AI enables self-diagnosis of assets, integration with carbon monitoring tools, and autonomous operation. And final thought for this presentation is, as infrastructure complexity depends, it is the transparency and intelligence offered by digital twin that will be required for project success in the next era. So more or less in the next 5 years, we can see most of the construction project enable digital twin for this better output of the project. So here I am concluding my presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Varun. And just to tell you, there are a couple of questions I can see, which I'm going to put forward to you, which have come in on the chat. One question says, it's again from Suraj Kanta Chaudhary, the same guy who asked the previous question. In Kuala Lumpur MRT Line 2 case study, what kind of system is used to track cost and progress? Any sensors, any platform used for cost tracking? That's what he asked.
Yeah. So this project has been executed nearly, I can say 2017, 2020. So we use a different software. So first is the CostX for a cost monitoring. The tool, the conventional BIM tool, we use the Bentley Open Rail, Open Building for few of the station for a tunnel and all. And we use Autodesk Revit. And we use Navisworks. And a part of it, we use a field view for from viewpoint to get everyday monitoring from the site. So the workflow was site team using a digital form, using a field view, giving information to the site managers that what progress has been done, number one. Number two, those progress has been checked into the BIM models, that this particular element or this particular set of construction has been done. And that information has been passed to cost control team, and they use a cost tags to get this cost connected with that element. So this was the current workflow has been used in a MRT Line 2 project. So it's an integration of multiple platforms.
Okay,
And
there's
once
another question. There's another question from Shruti Dhandania. Sir, what is 7D BIM stage? I suppose it could have been answered by this fellow, but I'm sure you can answer it yourself. What is 7D BIM stage? She's asking.
So yeah, so to be very honest, that in terms of 3D, 4D, 5D are very clear. The confusion start from 6D, 7D, and so on. So for the trend change and these dimensions are getting changed. So for 4D, 5D, so 4D is for time simulation, 5D is for cost simulation. Now in early days, 6D was used for facility management, and 7D was used for let's say for a security, data security of the asset particularly, or of the system, because those data, when it connected to the digital platform, then data security plays an essential role. So initially 7D was planned for this data security of asset in terms of physical and digital both way. But as Mr. Kawa presented, for energy analysis and 7D for facility management. So both is vice versa.
All right. Okay, thank you. Now, just to wrap up some of the things again, which I, there are so many advantages and benefits that you brought out about, what should I say, about our digital twin. But some of the more important ones which I try to bring into focus is better decision making. Yeah. And why is that happening? Because we can simulate scenarios with more informed and data-driven decisions, right? We get a lot of data, basically, which we can put in. The decisions need not only go by experience, which what was done earlier. Many of your constructability examples you gave were earlier done basically by experienced people. But now it's not only experience that counts in, it's also the data which you can collect and data-driven decisions, right?
Correct.
And then risk management.
Right.
You can identify potential risks by simulating situations, especially worker safety. You can actually simulate on the digital twin, simulate the conditions and the hazards, and you can analyze the impact of them, right? The third would be cost and time optimization. Again, identifying inefficiencies, reduce waste, control costs, improve overall efficiency, right? And the fourth one I would bring forward is remote monitoring, right?
Correct.
Site activities and access real-time site conditions. So you don't necessarily have to be there at site all the time.
On a site, yes.
Like what you gave the example of your TBMs, right? You can actually get the data from each TBM at the end of the day, and you don't have to actually visit the site to see what is happening, right?
Exactly,
So
yes.
with that, I think we've covered quite a lot of ground, and we all understand that the digital twin is not the same as BIM. BIM is used for the digital twin. The digital twin adds on a lot more. We can do a lot more experimentation, lot more simulations, lot more decision making without interfering with the BIM model, right?
Right.
Okay, so that puts us, thank you so much, Varun Kumar, for this presentation, enlightening presentation of yours, right?
Thank you, sir.
And now I will move on to the third presentation of the day. Our next speaker will be Mr. Suhas Bhagwat, who's part of our core CA committee. His presentation is titled Extended Reality for Engineering and Construction Projects. Suhas has vast experience and is the founder and CEO of Avroglide Consultants and is based in New Bombay, Navi Mumbai. He's actively involved in AR, VR in India as well as in the Asia Pacific. right? So over to Suhas Bhagwat.
Myself, okay, you can hear me now?
Yes.
I just unmuted myself. Yeah. So let me share the screen. Thanks, Charles, and thanks all the representatives from CAI, including the president, Mr. Prashant Kapila, for giving an extremely insightful keynote address to start with. Dr. Subbarao and Charles taking this forward as a moderator, very, very effective. And let me now take forward my presentation. Let me first share my screen. Yeah. Okay. You can see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let me also put in the presentation mode. Yeah. So as Charles has already introduced, this presentation basically covers the topic of extended reality, which is a combined term used to refer to the three components of this technology, which is virtual reality, augmented reality, and the mixed reality. For the engineering and construction projects, how they add value to these projects. This is the sequence. What are the technologies of virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and what kind of value they bring to the table? What is the overall spectrum of this technology, the XR spectrum? We'll also go into very briefly some essential scientific aspects of how this virtual reality technology works, because that's very important to understand both from the point of view of developing applications in this technology as well as using those applications for your industrial use cases. And what is the relevance of XR to some of the key functions in the engineering and construction projects, the entire value chain? What are the sample industry use cases in with XR, which add value to various functions? And very important aspect of VR is how do you integrate VR, virtual reality, with the very innovative technology of BIM, which we have talked about in the last two sessions. How do you integrate BIM modeling or the 3D modeling with VR, and what kind of powerful features it presents for the use, for the benefit of the users? And then we have a brief outlook on what kind of roadmap an organization can follow in case they have not really stepped into this technology, and how do they start and how do they proceed by going ahead with implementing solutions based on XR. So what are these three things? VR, AR, and XR. So virtual reality basically is an immersive multimedia or computer simulated environment that mimics the physical presence in the imaginary world. It permits you to interact with that virtual world, and you're surrounded by that virtual world and you get a completely immersive experience. It creates sensory experiences. You can hear things, of course, you can see, hear, touch. You can move through the virtual environment, you can navigate through it. Main defining characteristics are the immersion and presence. It basically tricks your brain into thinking that you are into a different place, you are surrounded by a completely different environment. And the presence is subjective at the psychological, that is a psychological response to this immersive experience, that you actually feel that you are present in a place different from where you're actually sitting. Augmented reality is a little different combination of the virtual with the real. It's the superimposition of virtual images or the computer generated graphics onto the real objects. And that gives you a completely different scope for evolving very interesting applications in the field of engineering and construction. Mixed reality is a little higher version of augmented reality, where there is a possibility of interaction between the virtual objects and the real objects. meaning the virtual objects can interact with the real world. You can have a responsive, they are more responsive to the real world. And so it's a combination of the virtual and real. That's the fundamental aspect of it. Now, there are multitude of applications of extended reality in different aspects, different sectors of economy. It may be entertainment and tourism. It could be high-end, high technology, manufacturing and engineering. For example, here you can see that lady having a look at the virtual image of a transmission of maybe a racing car while sitting in her office, and she can look at that model, going deep into it, expanding it, zooming it out, zooming it in, and then also and so forth. There is a medical student who is looking at a human skeleton standing in front of her, probably by using the head-mounted device called Microsoft HoloLens. And then you have applications in the field of projects, in the field of oil and gas projects. For example, here you can see a person trying to get himself familiarized with an offshore oil and gas platform before even he has stepped into such a platform. So what are the tangible benefits? No industrialist, no business person, no company will step into a new technology or will deploy solutions based on emerging technologies unless he sees some benefit. He's not going to do it just for the fancy of it. So what are the benefits that the industry has realized? And these are all reported information, and there's specific references available for each of the statements which I've made here. 25% increase in operational efficiency through a very effective training, which is immersive training through the virtual reality applications. Very significant reduction, 35 to 50%, as it has been observed in many cases, reported cases. A reduction in technicians' time in attending to a troubleshooting problem, repair works, etc. Very huge reduction in the support costs, such as the costs that you incur in undertaking travel, the labor spend that you may incur, or the type of cost that you may incur because of the fact that a plant or a part of the plant or part of the equipment is under shutdown, and the kind of production losses that you may incur. 50% reduction in the production equipment downtime. Very significant reduction in inspection time to undertake a specific or identified inspection activity. Again, how these can be achieved, we'll shortly look. Let's look at what is the overall extended reality spectrum. So just to imagine, on one side, you have the real environment, which is your own surrounding. You're sitting in an office, you're surrounded by the office furniture, you're sitting at the desk, and then you're working on your laptop. All that is your surrounding, real environment. On the extreme other end is a virtual environment. And in between are the various combinations of the real and the virtual. On the real side, you have the augmented reality, as I mentioned some time back, which is a superimposition of virtual images onto the real objects. Then in between, you can even talk about something called augmented virtuality. Virtual reality is more towards the virtual environment, where you are completely surrounded by the virtual field. And the combination of all these combination of virtual and augmented is called mixed reality, which has some specific benefits. Each of these components of the technology is enabled through a very specific head-mounted display. What you're seeing in the picture here are the head-mounted displays for use for virtual reality. You also have headgear or the head-mounted tablets or smart glasses, which are typically used for augmented reality and the mixed reality. And here, what I have in my hand is, let me see if you can see this. This is a MetaQuest 3 head-mounted display for the virtual reality. This is the, you can also see it in the image here. MetaQuest 3 is one of the latest and very, I would say, economically priced head-mounted display, which is becoming very popular. The HTC Vive and HP Reverb and Apple Vision Pro is one of the latest kid on the block, which has come onto the market 2 years back, but then they have gone slightly slow because they are developing some additional versions of Metacus 3. Microsoft HoloLens came some time back, but they have now stopped production of these HoloLens glasses, but they are coming up again with some advanced versions of it. So the whole spectrum is treated as extended reality, is referred to as extended reality. It's a common word. What are the essential aspects of this VR technology from the point of view of a person who is involved in developing solutions, as well as the person or the user who wants to deploy those VR or AR-based applications for their use cases, their operational use cases? I'm not going to go through all these details of the 7 components that I have mentioned, but I must show you what is the first one, and then I'll talk very briefly about the other 5, other 6. So the human sense and perception phenomena in the real world and the virtual world. What you see here is a simple real world. You're standing somewhere, sitting somewhere, and you're seeing through your eyes, sensing something which is surrounding you. It's the real world. There's a natural stimulus that comes to your sensing organs, such as the eye or the ear or skin, which is a touch organ. And that the stimulus is communicated to the brain perceives something and it gives a feedback, and you understand or you perceive what you're seeing. And that's the very simple network. But in the case of virtual world, it's a little more complicated, because you're not seeing the real world, you're seeing a virtual world. To start with, you need to create the virtual world, and there's something called the virtual world generator. The virtual world generator renders the virtual world images or the environment onto the display, which I just showed you, which can be HMD. Then this display, when you're wearing it, you can see what are the images in the display, and you get that artificial stimulus through the sense organs. Mostly it is eye, it can also be ears, and then there can also be other sense organs coming into picture. This neural signal goes to the brain perceives something. Now, based on the perception, the brain has to give a command to different organs of your body to act. For example, if there is a very loud sound, or there is very blinking, strong beam of light coming into your eye, then you will like to turn your eye. And this action, the brain gives a control to the head or the other organ. And when the action is taken up by your body, this stimulus feedback has to go back to the display. The display has to take it back to the virtual world generator by tracking, and the virtual world generator has to create another image of the same virtual world, because if you have turned your head on the side, then you must see something different on the side, and that other part of the image has to appear in front of you, and in no time, in a fraction of a second. And that's the whole network of how the stimulus goes to your sense organ, then to the brain, back to your action controlling organs, back to the display, back to the virtual world generator, and again back to the display to see a new scene. So that's the basic network of the stimulus and the feedback. Depth perception. The depth perception basically is the visual ability to perceive objects either in the 3D as well as perceived at what distance they are, because you are not seeing the real world, you are seeing the virtual world through the head-mounted device, and you have to have that correct perception of the depth. And that's important to be, as part of the coding work, you need to bring that perception so that you get the real feel and you don't land up getting nausea or some such thing. Accommodation and versions. These are the 2 very important terms to be understood by the people who create virtual reality applications. Accommodation basically is this refers to the need to adjust your lens of the eye, as when you look at the object which is in the distance, you're focusing in a particular way, and when you start looking at the object which is closer to you, or when the object approaches you, you have to contract your lens, or you have to compress the lens and increase the focal length so that your image falls on your retina properly. So that's another important thing that has to be borne in mind. Screen resolution is basically the measure of the sharpness It reflects the sharpness of the image that you're seeing, the clarity of the image that you're seeing, and that is the characteristic of the display. For example, the screen resolution of a head-mounted device, screen resolution in a computer screen, and the resolution of a TV screen, or as the resolution that you see on a large board that may be mounted on the side of the road, they all have different resolutions because there are different distances. And longer the distance, you can permit smaller resolution. But as you come closer, as the screen comes closer to your eyes, your resolution of the screen has to be very, very high. And you're talking about using a head-mounted device, which is just about an inch away from your eye. So the resolution of the head-mounted device or the head-mounted display has to be very, very high as compared to a resolution in a computer screen, a resolution in a mobile phone, resolution of a TV screen, or any other resolution of a large distant object. So that's an important thing as far as the selection of the head-mounted display is concerned. Field of view. Field of view is the extent to which you can see you can see the part of the observable environment. On the two sides, we are focusing in the front, but you can still see have a sense of what's on the two sides. So that's the field of view. So the field of view also is a parameter to be associated with the head-mounted display that you have to use. And the larger the field of view, the better match it will be with your natural field of your eyes. So again, it's a parameter to be selected, and the device has to be selected appropriately. Frame rate and the latency again are two important parameters. Frame rate, it is basically it affects the user's experience because it's how smoothly the images appear in front of your eyes, and how smooth and gap-free experience that you get from the moving images. So again, higher the frame rate, better it will be. Typically 90 frames per second is treated as a minimum requirement of that particular head-mounted device. Again, so old devices did not have this kind of frame rate. Now the new devices are produced with these frame rates. Latency is basically the time delay between the display and the updating the display and the response to your change in your the actions that you take in terms of when you're changing the direction of your head, you're looking somewhere else, how quickly your image refreshes and it presents the correct image in front of you. If there's a gap, then you get the discontinuous feeling that you're not going to see a continuity in what you're observing. Degrees of freedom is, again, it refers to something called spatial tracking and the number of ways a rigid body can move inside a three-dimensional space. So typically old head-mounted devices for virtual reality were associated with 3 degrees of freedom, but the latest devices are now with 6 degrees of freedom. 3 degrees of freedom basically are the rotations, yaw pitch roll, there is XYZ, YXZ, yaw pitch roll, and there's a 3 degrees of freedom. You can rotate around the vertical axis or the horizontal axis on the sideways axis. That's the only thing. You have to stand. If you walk, you're not going to get that freedom to walk, because the whole environment will also walk with you. Whereas in the 6 degrees of freedom, in addition to the rotational degrees, you also have the translational degrees of freedom, where you can walk and turn back and go up or go down, etc. So having given this, now we come to what is the value chain? What is the value chain in the extended reality? So basically, the value chain in extended reality is starting with the essential basic concepts and principles of the immersive technology that has to be understood. The technology development, the device design and manufacture, the newer and newer devices coming into the market, which are higher and higher functionalities and sharper features. Then the use case, development of the use cases, content creation, application development. That's again a particular activity to be handled by the people who have experience in this. Then you have the deployment of these applications in the use cases, and deploy the solutions, monitor the performance, and assess what kind of benefits that you get out of this. So the role of XR stakeholders are in each of these stages of the virtual reality value chain. You have to understand what are the parameters, what are the features and functionalities of the technology, what are the features and functionalities of the devices, what kind of interaction you need to have the domain experts to create, to identify a particular use case, what are the applications can be deployed for those use cases, and what kind of devices you must use, what application software, what rendering platform that you should use. All those things become part of the content creation activity. Then having created the content, you have to deploy the applications into your operational environment. It may be training, it could be project review, it could be immersive familiarization of facility, it could be integration with BIM and create a VR-based application. So these having deployed, then you have to basically assess what kind of benefits.
Can we look at closing up now, winding up?
You would like me to wind up? Okay, I'm just coming to the. I think I've got give me less time, is it? Okay, fine. So quickly, what are the engineering and what are the engineering and construction project value chain? Here we have different functions, and for each of these functions, you're going to have applications in virtual reality and augmented reality. So having come to this, let me just quickly go to some of the industrial use cases. Here you have virtual reality-based familiarization of process plant modules which are ready for dispatch, and a client can come and wear the bed-mounted device and go through these. You can have a virtual reality-based hologram, augmented reality-based hologram, and this is more of a mixed reality application where you can hologram of a complex rotary machine. It can open up, you can zoom in, zoom out, see the internal configuration. You have the remote assistance through augmented reality application where you have a design expert helping the technician at the field who is remotely located, guiding the person what action to be taken, and thereby come out with quick solutions. There are many applications of VR in the industrial safety, starting with importance of PPE, fire safety and working at height, crane operation safety, etc., etc. You have a very interesting solution developed by an American company called Flactual AR, which combines the virtual reality, which is through the head-mounted device, and another person at the field who is using a mobile phone to activate his AR application, where the person in the design office comes in virtual avatar and guides the technician who is doing some particular activity. Then you have VR-based training applications. For example, here you have the electric feeder line activity, which is this application provides the training for a person to undertake this feeder lockout, tag out, and then either shut it down or reactivate the power supply. You have applications of VR for welding, welder training, where the person wearing the VR headset, he is undergoing training in welding of different types. It may be SMAG, it may be TIG welding. Accordingly, he has to use the right welding gun, and he gets the experience of actually doing the welding, and he can also see the kind of weld that he has created, he has performed. And he can also see what kind of defects, maybe porosity or discontinuity or zigzag nature of the weld. And then by repeating his activity, he can actually see that he is improving. Now, coming to the last part, integration of BIM with 3D modeling. BIM and 3D modeling with virtual reality and augmented reality. The first one is just an example of how AR and MR can be deployed for doing installation validation or checking the punch list or checking the physical dimensions. This has been discussed by Varun and Krishna to some extent, but I would like to go through a little deeper into this. Give me 2 minutes only, Charles, on this. It's important. The integration of BIM and VR is a process of connecting the two to create an immersive experience for visualizing and interacting with the 3D model or the facilities which are being constructed or which are yet to be constructed. This integration enables users to have design visualization as well as virtual immersive collaborative review, where number of people from different locations can actually participate in this together in this immersive review. The immersive experience can be through the facilities before the construction is completed. Enhanced visualization basically is results into effective examination, review of engineering aspects, clash detection, layouts, maintenance space, missing elements, all this in an immersive way. So you're not going to do it in the screen. You are actually walking through the model. Now, you can also do operator training with the virtual menu boards in the field of view, metadata overlays, documents, drawings, videos can be made to open through the hyperlinked activities. And you can even have the narration, audio narrations coming to provide the instructions. You can have improved collaboration definitely for all the stakeholders through the immersive walkthrough, and faster decision making, increased safety, and also you can even allow the client before the construction of the facility to have a walkthrough and get his feedback for any additional features to be incorporated. Now, what are the broad steps? You have the BIM model. I'm not going to go through it in detail. You already have that. Different file formats, IFC, FBX, etc., etc. Then there's what is known as plugin. Between the BIM model or a 3D model, 3D model may be for oil and gas project, BIM for construction project. These may be Navisworks, this may be AutoCAD, Autodesk, Revit, all those. And then you have to import these models into the VR platforms such as Unity and Unreal. So there is something called plugin software. At the plugin stage, you also need to optimize the model to avoid any unnecessary congestion. Decongest the model so that when you have an immersive walkthrough, you're not congested with too many unnecessary information. Import the VR model into the platform and integrate. It may be imported in one lot, it may be imported in parts. Then having important parts, you integrate these parts together and create a final VR model. But having created the model, then starts the further refinement and further features to be added. Develop the scheme for virtual navigations. You decide where you want to start, where you want to end, what kind of navigation path you want to take through the virtual model. Incorporate instructional virtual menu boards and overlays in the field of view of the user. So as he navigates through the model, he has supporting guiding menu boards, opening documents, audio instructions, safety alerts, dimensional checks, and training narrations. And upload these model onto the VR headset. You have to build and upload the model into the VR headset. And that's where you have the VR integrated BIM application available. Deploy the application into the real space, use it for collaborative model review, it may be training purpose, and so on and so forth. Now here, so I'm going to just go through a quick clip, not more than 1 minute. And
VREX makes it possible to do virtual site
Can you
visits
hear me?
together
Can you hear the
early
voice?
in the planning stages of the project, while it is still cost-effective to do changes. Virtual site visits in all phases of the project are practically like being on site. You walk through the models together, you see each other, you hear each other, and most importantly, you discuss challenges and solutions while having an intuitive sense of the space. Everyone can understand the topics being discussed, regardless of what role they have in the project or their professional background. The sole purpose is to discuss challenges, discover problems, and make good decisions early so that you can avoid costly changes downstream. The cost of doing rework is several orders of magnitude more expensive than doing the changes earlier on. If you see
So that's it. So I'm through with my presentation.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Suhas. Thank you for giving us
Thank you.
a very good insight into XR, and you explained the different components of XR, AR, VR, MR. Okay, having said that, I got a couple of questions for you,
Sure.
if you can take them. So here's one from Varun Kumar Panchal. He asks, so what sort of software platform people use for XR? And which platform perform best for XR outputs?
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my presentation in case it's required. Again, we can get back to it. Yeah. So as I very briefly mentioned, the platform in which the virtual reality applications are developed is there are two platforms. One is Unity and the other is Unreal. Now, Unity and Unreal are the rendering engines where you create the virtual world, virtual environment. So you have objects which have to be imported into the virtual environment. You have to create interaction. Now, as part of the creation of interaction, you need to have some kind of a coding. And the coding comes from, typically comes from an application called C# or Visual Studio. So it's a combination of the platform or the rendering engine such as Unity or Unreal and the coding work which happens in the C# or Visual Studio. And then you create this interaction, you create the animation, you create the movements, you have interaction with between objects, interaction as a feedback to the external stimulus. And then you build this, that is compile it, and then load it onto the machine.
Okay.
That's
Now,
basically what it is.
Basically, I have something for you,
Yeah.
Suhas. My question is, you showed that video with Anna and Alex, two
Yeah.
people, let's say, who are going through a VR, simulation, and they spot some inconsistencies. Let us say, there's some space allocation is not enough for maintenance or for operation or whatever. But now, what do you do? See, you have a couple of people who are doing this walkthrough, but then there are far more people involved. So what do? You take a screenshot of that with the dimensions, then you bring it to the other stakeholders, and then you'll reach a consensus. So how is it done?
Yeah, typically what happens is you can have more number of people involved in this collaborative review. If you can even have 4, 5, 6 people. What the observations of one person are basically there's a provision for posting those observations in the model itself.
All right.
So the model gets updated with those posts, and that model is shared with others, and they can see what are the comments, or what are the observations, what are the suggestions made by people from different groups, and then that is through the workflow, it reaches the engineering team who will have to take action, either engineering or procurement or project management, whatever. So basically, this is through the shared activity that the comments made by one group are made available to the other group through the updated model. Basically, that's what it is.
Okay. So,
okay, Charles.
yeah.
Charles, before you move on, just
Right.
1 second.
Yeah.
I would wish to inform all the participants that if you really want to physically feel what XR is, we are going to have a workshop on 13th of September.
Right.
We'll be putting out the flyer for that
Right.
in a couple of weeks. So whoever wishes to really experience that, and also about AI, you are welcome to join. But we'll be having limited seats because this is going to be a physical event with physical experience. Right. Anyway, Mr. Chetan Kavdia will tell you a little more about it towards the end. Thanks.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, so having listened to that presentation on XR, again, I just like to summarize 4 of the important things which really benefits which came through to me. One was elimination of, travel and on-site training. As Suhas told us, you can virtually be there. So you don't have to make that many trips, and very often very costly when there are overseas trips. And even building some prototype of any particular module or whatever is not required, because now you have through virtual reality you can have that, you virtually got that model, so you don't have to build a prototype. Secondly, remote collaboration. So teams can collaborate, discuss in real time, and without being at the physical location. Earlier, the team, as you said, we used to have these 3D model reviews and everyone had to be in the same physical location. Now you need not do that. You can still be far away and still be interconnected to AR. And increased customer engagement. You can involve your customer much more because your customer gets involved by going through the VR experience, and he can get much more into the project rather than say at the end of it, oh, I didn't know it was going to turn out like this. Yeah. And safe practices for individuals, because individuals who are going to do dangerous tasks can actually go through it on a VR. After all, his life is at stake, like his life is on the line, and he can see and say, no, I'm not really comfortable with this. We need to look at something else. Yeah. So these are the four points I saw of benefit from VR and XR as a rule. And thank you, Suhas, once again for the nice presentation and enlightening us on so many aspects of XR. Right?
Thanks for summarizing. Very crisp comment. Thank you.
Mr. Mal has said, I would like to also add that the event which is being planned in September on VR AR, we plan to take it to other parts of the country as well. At least 2 other places we plan to do it.
Yeah, that will be very appropriate. I think we should do that.
Right. So having said that, now I think I will move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Mr. Tuhin Jana, and his presentation is titled Power BI and its Applications in Projects. Tuhin is a Deputy General Manager at TCE and has hands-on experience on Power BI. Now, Power BI is something of these 4 things we're talking about. Power BI possibly is the least known. So over to you, Tuhin, and explain to us this, Tuhin rather, explain to us this aspect of Power BI and how it helps us in project management.
Yeah. Thank you, George. Good evening, all. Myself, Tuhin Jana. I'm actually, is my screen visible?
Yeah, your screen is visible. Yes, Tuhin.
Yeah. So I am going to present the Power BI and its application to project management. Before that, I want to express my gratitude to give this wonderful opportunity to present and share my experience on that very wonderful topic. And in today's fast-paced project environment, the ability to make data-driven is not only it is basically the necessity. Project managers are constantly balancing time, cost, and the other module of project environment, and decision making is becoming slow because the integration of data is too difficult to maintain and collaborate all across. So I would like to discuss on these few topics. That is, my topics is basically divided into 2 parts. One is what is Power BI, and the second segment, how it is benefited to project management. In the first segment, I would like to discuss on challenges for effective project management, then introduction to Power BI, key component of Power BI, what is the system architecture of Power BI, then how it is collaborating data, importing data, and what type of data it can import and collaborate, then how actually what are the key tools and features. So in that segment, we will discuss some tools available, feature available in Power BI, then how visuals is making in Power BI, how easy it to use for all users, then what is the application of Power BI in project. And at last, I will summarize. So in first, yeah, say, imagine you are managing the project manager of a critical infrastructure project with hundreds of tasks across engineering, procurement, and construction. The client's needs update, but your latest report is stuck into various Excel sheet and database. You have to chase update from different team members and facing so many challenges on that. What are the challenges? Challenges are basically collecting the data, because the data is in scattered way and that is maintained by different users, and there is some manual data is put by different users. So yeah, project manager used to put manual data to manage the show. Then data is basically managing in silo, that if you able to collect all the data, then it is difficult to analyze, because the output after analyzing those data is not so much beneficial, and the time is, you will not get so much time to analyze the data and generate the report, because every time, every seconds, the scenario has been changes. So for live status of the data, you will not get so much time to analyzing all those data. If you are able to analyze the data, then what form of reporting you will do? Whether the report is giving the significant outcome, is it basically enhancing the decision making procedures? So this type of reporting problem also, which we or the project managers or project team members and every project stakeholder are facing day in day out. So if those three are not performed well, then the decision making team, management, who are basically take the decision after viewing the status of the project, they are unable to take decision. So they cannot, drive the project or give the decision or guide the project team. So if this is the problem, then how it is, how it can be solved? So here there is so many solutions, but one of them is basically, if we able to integrate the data, project is managed inefficiently. What are the problem? Problem is this. Problem is this. Once to make it efficient, first the data from all module, if it may be scope, cost, schedule, resource, quality, issues, risk, all those data from all modules should be collected and collected and collaborated in a one place. Then once this data is collected, and then the real-time dashboard will be produced. Once this real-time dashboard is able to produce, then proactive decision can be taken to reduce the bottleneck of the project. So here is we need one integrated tool for integrating all those data from various modules of project. What is that tool? That is the Power BI. Power BI, what is Power BI? Power BI is the intelligence tool to analyze data, clean data, and convert the data in the visual where you can create different report and dashboard. What are the advantages of this Power BI tool? Power BI can give the 360 view of project in one place, enable real-time tracking and support for streaming data. So it can, once you configure the data flow, it will repeat, and once the data has been updated in various module, various data source, automatically it will streaming to the data set where the dashboard is basically generating. It gives the drill through capability. It gives the drill through picture of the project insights, and we can visualize the KPIs, project KPIs through Power BI in one place. Support fast deployment, hybrid setup, secure access. That is also this advantage also available in this tool, and seamlessly it is integrate on premises and cloud source. It is the standalone. It can take the data from standalone and also various file available in cloud also. And the disadvantage is that the data is basically coming from various source. So some data modeling experts is required for initial ETL process. That means extract, then transform and load data into Power BI system. Then IT support, for that also IT support is required, and the Power BI free version is available, and for corporate use, paid versions and premium version, license versions is recommended. Now going to the third topic, the Power BI. What is the Power BI key component? There are so many power tools available in Power BI. In Excel, we know the Power Query is available in Excel also. That feature is available Power Query, where we can basically clean the data and do some DAX to, if some data is not available, we have to calculate those data from other data available. So from the DAX, we can generate those data in Power Query. Then it has a ability of Power Pivot. Power Pivot also a very good tool, so that the three-dimensional view we can achieve from this Power Pivot tool. Then Power View, excellent visualizations is available in Power BI. Then Power Map, you can see the status across the geographic area. Then Power BI Desktop, you can develop your model as per the requirement of your project. And Power BI website, you can publish the data report through website, and it is available to all the stakeholder as per your requirement. And also it can be viewed from mobile apps also. Now going to what is the architecture it follows. If you see the Power BI architecture, first it is getting data from various sources. What are those sources? If you see, there are huge type of data we can integrate through Power BI, where you can take folder, you can take Excel, you can take some SharePoints, online file list, SharePoints, Excel available in OneDrive, Google Drive. Those you can take into the Power BI environment. Then database, Oracle, SQL, MySQL, this kind of data also you can integrate to Power BI. Then Azure, what I have mentioned, the various module available online, that also you can integrate into the Power BI, online services and others. These are so many applications from where data can be taken into Power BI for making the status report. Once the data is collected, then this is the view of Power BI tool where different segments is available. This is the main pane called canvas, and around this canvas, lot of tool available there. This report, when you are basically, this is basically showing this visual display of the, when you click on that report button, then you will get able to get this visual of dashboard. The data collected from various sources, you can relate those data from these tool, relationships tools, and data model view. This is available here. You can prepare multiple pages for as per your project requirement. So various report you can prepare in individual canvas page. And here all the database that is basically taken from various sources, and these are the visuals, and these are the filters, the power filters, what I said in the previous slide. That is, all those things are available in Power BI, and it is very easy to use. Now, how the data has been processed, when you collect data, say some Excel sheet, then you will get some Excel page. I am just quickly go through that portion because otherwise I will not cover in time. So once those data is collected, then we can just select the visuals and get some visuals. Here I have selected one column chart. Then if we can see this visual in different way, then we can see by selecting the data from there, we can see this type of stacked histogram, so that anybody can get the other view and take some decision at one instantly. Once that is done, then it will be the report will be generated. Report, and here also from cloud, also the Power BI can take data, and also this data can report can be published in cloud also. So when the report is published, then it can be viewed from desktop, mobile as well. Now going to sample application of Power BI. Here actually lot of various dashboard we have developed for our project. Some of the dashboard we are basically showing you, that is the practical use and applied in project. So some of the dashboard we are basically showing there. This is the executive summary, some of the project executive summary, where you can see in this segment the scope, high level scope. You can, if you focused on this visual, it will enlarge and you can see what the scope all about. That is high level scope, the high level progress plan versus actual. You can see the color variation also. If it is behind this plan, then some color indication you can get from here. So easy to visualize and easy to take decision. These are the next level plan versus progress. These key milestone highlights S curve and E. This is for overall view of a project. Then in this segment, if you go into the milestone, then you can see some of the milestone is showing in green and some of the milestone is showing in white. So you can understand, easy to visualize that this milestone already has been achieved. These are yet to achieve, and the indication is shown here. This milestone on schedule, those milestone already actual on schedule, but these some of the milestone achieved but behind the schedule. And if you see at the end milestone how it is impacting, there is no impact on end milestone because it is showing on schedule. Here you can see the Gantt chart also, where if you enlarge this, each and every activity you can see this is the status date. So easy to understand your progress is ahead of plan or not. You can see this is the dark blue is showing the progress, and here the milestone. If you see the what is the planned milestone, planned date, actual date, and if that is behind the schedule. So once that is reviewed by the concerned person, they will put their comments so that action can be taken immediately by by viewing this report. Then if you see, this is the S-curve of the project, where you can see I have shown there 3 high-level WBS overall project, and then the progress. If you click on any of the WBS, you will find this S-curve. So this is interactive. So and you can see some health indicator, that is schedule performance index. So if you click on other WBS in the tool, you can see health indicator as well as the S-curve of the particular activities. Then if you gone little bit detail into the project, then what happened? The engineering dashboard will come. Engineering dashboard, you will easily understand what is the total number of scope and what is the various status of the deliverable, and department wise, discipline wise. You can see dashboard also, what are the quantity. This data is basically taken from our project control platform, and what are the deliverables is planned in recent future. That is look at plan also. You can by clicking any of the discipline, you can see other visual against that particular discipline.
Tuhin, can we try to wind up soon?
Yeah. And this is the master deliverable list. This is basically the quantity variance analysis. We can see if there is a variance, then we can analyze through this tool also. There, the risk module, some dashboard of risk module. These are basically the applications we use for. We can use for project. Then, so if the real-time monitoring is happening and stakeholder is done, then through Power BI, the all thing can be viewed by all different stakeholders, and they can do the faster decision making. So here I have put some example from Power BI. If you are going to track the change request submitted by various project team member, and you suddenly see that the sudden increase in number of change requests, so you will what you will find, there is a scope of scope creep, so you can take action accordingly. So in this way, the Power BI is basically helping to managing the project by gathering data from various sources and enhance decision-making processes. So this is all about from my side. If you have any question.
Thanks so much, Tuhin. I have a couple of questions. I don't know.
Yeah.
I cannot see any questions that have come in. Someone said, can software like MS Projects or Primavera be also integrated with the Power BI tools?
Yeah, absolutely. It is Power BI can take Microsoft project directly, and through SQL it can take Excel file also, P6 file also.
No, basically I can understand what you're saying. See, Power BI is a MS software. It's a Microsoft software. So MS Projects and Power BI will be very compatible. But when he talks of Primavera, which is far more used than MS Projects, then how is the compatibility?
Yeah, there is actually some APIs. Through that we can take all the data in SQL Server, and SQL Server directly put the data in Power BI environment, and it is it can be done easily. Only configuration, once configuration is done, you can get direct Primavera database data from Primavera database to Power BI environment.
Okay, thanks for the answer, Tuhin. Just to ask you one question. Yeah. Somebody is.
Yeah, one very small.
Charles, after you finish, I'll also have a question.
Okay, just one question, Tuhin. You know, your presentation was extremely well prepared with so many slides, so many pictorials. But one thing that struck me is that some of those slides, those dashboards, had so many pictures in them. I'm asking, does Power BI finally give us an overload of information? Is it that, you know, you get lost in that bulk of information that is being thrown at you? And, you know, sometimes we can overdo things, no? So how does one sort of filter out the real information that you need at your level, at that particular level?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the data can be customized based on the project requirement. You can customize the data, and in my dashboard there is so many tabular data is there. You can make it suitable. You can change into various significant visual also. Lot of visual, customized visual is available in Power BI, and there is a Power BI marketplace also. You can choose the suitable visuals for that, so that your data will be given a lot of information you will get from single visual, and the dashboard you can concise.
Okay. Another thing is, you know, basically you've got a lot of dashboards and reports, right? But these dashboards and reports are as relevant as the quality of the data, correct? Now, how do you ensure the quality of the data, and the data is not getting manipulated? It's real time, and it is, you know, not getting manipulated to give the reports that, you know, you want someone else to see. How do you ensure that?
Yeah, very good question. Actually, that is why Power BI is. We can do manipulation in Excel. We can do manipulation in Word. But in system, there is a rare chance to manipulate the data because every system is having his own methodologies. In Primavera, in Microsoft project, you cannot change the date at your own. There is some logic behind that. So according to that, you have to change the date. Once you change this date in logic, then that data is basically transmitting to Primavera. So if the organization having a document controlling platform system is there, then the document, once it is submitted to client, when it is returned back to the agencies, then if it is done in system, then every time there is a the stage gate, and every stage gate there is real-time data. If you publish the transmittal, then the date will capture in system. So there is no chance of manipulation. You can only do in Excel.
I think after Tuhin, the question is, particularly for all infrastructure projects, wherever you are doing, the question is the real-time data getting, that input getting from site is a very big challenge.
Yeah.
You take any project, you talk any contractor, whether it is big or small, everybody is having that problem that, okay, from site, the real-time data entry itself is a very big challenge. All these tools, all these techniques, I'm just asking a very general question.
Yeah, very pertinent question.
I have almost consultancy experience, project development experience, contracting experience. But by virtue of every input, all the analysis you can do, all the optimization you can do, all the decision making you can do, by the time you are teaching 1 or 2 or 3 staff at site that, okay, how to collect the data, how to feed the real-time data, by the time they start doing that, they will move the site itself. They will move from the site. They will move from the company itself. So biggest problem nowadays is how to do the proper training for all these staff who are working at site, and how to get that, I think, that feel, that zeal developed inside the people, how they can go and they can give us the real-time data for all these processes and decision making.
Yeah.
Because a supervisor, a diploma holder will not understand, they will not take the pain to understand all this Power BI and whatever tools we have developed and we are asking them to utilize.
Yeah, that is a real challenge we are facing for real project management process, because the location and the necessity of the data, because the data is managed at site in silo, and the stakeholder mainly the site personnel. So that is why the Power BI is required. If you collaborate the data in one system, and if it is available to all team member who is basically working in the project, then they can visualize the report in a very good way in their hand, say in mobile, in laptop, or the system they are using in a daily manner. Say they will find some data gap available in the system. So then they will realize that this data is basically supposed to be come from that personnel. They will do that. After some times, it will happen.
Okay,
and they will ask how to put the data so that it can be transmitted into the dashboard, and will not show any further gap. I am just giving
Possibly,
you another example. Say
possibly,
we used to punch in when we enter in this office. So if I forgot to punch in, somewhere we can see I have not done the punch. So from there, I can get feedback. So some misalignment will be visible in the report. So from and next day, I will be aware that this should not be done from my end, and I will be careful to punch in.
Tuhin, can I just, I think, we are going into a long discussion on this and we need to stop. But I think really all these problems, as, pointed out and highlighted, will only get solved once we start using blockchain. In blockchain, there's really no escape from all this, So unless we get into that, I think these things will go on happening. Having said that, I think we'll wind up this because we've got one more presentation to go, right? So thank you so much, Tuhin, for the enlightening discussion we give. I'll just wrap up with, again, 4 points which I took from this. Enhanced collaboration and communication through your dashboards and reports. Very attractive, very clear-cut dashboards, reports. As you say, if you know how to read them, how to interpret them, a lot can be gained. Cost and time management against track project progress against budgets and timelines. So like you showed very clearly, the trends can be looked at, timelines and budgets can be looked at, better visualization and analysis, identifying trends, past things of what have happened and potential issues. And fourth one is increased efficiency and productivity, blockchain data analysis capabilities, areas for improvement and optimized workflows. All this information which you're giving, real-time information, can pinpoint on the inefficiencies and help to optimize those efficiencies, right? So I think with that, we've come to a very good close of this presentation. And thank you very much, Tuhin. I will now go on to introduce the next speaker. Our next speaker is Dr. Amarnath CB. Dr. Amarnath will present the Bureau of Indian Standards National BIM guidelines. So BIS has got some BIM guidelines which are under development. He is the president of India BIM Association and founder of Digital Transformation Consortium. And he has got various other accolades, which I'm not getting into now, but I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Amarnath CB.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for the invitation for this session. And welcome all to the Consulting Engineers Association's members. I believe most of us are all civil engineers, including myself. I'm a civil engineer. When it comes to BIM and digitalization, what is our role as a civil engineering professional? That need to be kept in mind before we get into anything on BIM. Today, I'm here to give an understanding of what are the kind of policies and mandates and standards which are coming up, guidelines and so on. Obviously, there is an initiative at the Niti Aayog for the BIM mandates where different ministries related to the built environment, they're brought in the BIM as part of their contractual contents now recently. And also the second thing is, if you would see the Central Public Works and State PWDs, they brought in the BIM into their contractual contents from April 2025. And here they've also put in a penalty clause for not activating BIM in the Public Works Department. And they want to have a full-fledged BIM. The same way it's happening with defense, MES, air, and aviation and road transport. And there are some level of initiatives at each public line today on these lines. And then we initially thought about being part of the national NGO, India BIM Association. We wanted to first spread the word of BIM to understand for a different stakeholders, because BIM is not for a civil engineer alone or an architect alone or mechanical engineers alone or for planning engineers. It's for the complete ecosystem involved in the projects, right? So almost from past 7-8 years, we are spreading about what is BIM meant for different stakeholders in different sectors. And 2021-22, we started looking in the requirements of BIM guidelines because we didn't have our local guidelines and policies. Then we put up a requirement for BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards, to have these things. 2022, we launched a white paper on the importance of having BIM because most of the clients' bodies within India at that time already has bought in BIM as part of their contractual requirements. And white paper was launched that time in 2022. And later, we formed a working groups and panels to drive the BIM guideline development under the Civil Engineering Department of CD29. We had, interestingly, did it in a different approach than any other guideline development which would have happened in other countries. I would tell how it is different. Obviously, today in the global market, you have roughly 25, 30 countries having their own guidelines. In the past 2 decades, there are a set of the guidelines which has been developed in different countries. The uniqueness in our guidelines is we are having a separate guidelines for the owner, for the contractor, and the service provider. Because BIM is not same for all of them. There are different activities they have to take care of using the BIM. There is a confusion that anyone in the project will involve in building the model alone. Well, when it comes to BIM, the first part is to build the model, starting from the design, then LOD 500, then LOD 500 plus for asset operation. It's about building and updating the models. That is about 20% of the work in the project on BIM. The remaining 80% of BIM is about how do you use it. Because BIM, you get the returns by activating BIM only when you use it. Then who has to use it? Obviously, the design and engineering companies, contractors, subcontractors, consultants, government agencies, asset management firms, project management consulting organizations. They're all the organizations who have to use the BIM once it is developed. Then how do they use it? Do you will all these people do the 4D? Will all these people do 5D? No. There are different roles they play. They will be doing the actual roles, whatever they are doing in the projects. A planning engineer will still do the planning. A budgeting guy will continue budgeting. The only thing is there is little upgradation about the technologies, what they use, the standard mechanism they follow, and so on. So these are the contents we recently introduced into the National Building Code. There are 3 parts of NBC, which you will be having the 2020, the new version which is coming up, which will have part 0, where BIM introduction is given. Part 7, which is covering what is meant by BIM for different stakeholders, like in the design phase, different stakeholders, construction phase, and asset management phase. So what is the role of a different professionals in these, like architect, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection, landscape, interior design, IT, security, AV, coordinators in the design phase. What are their roles with BIM? Construction phase, contractors and subcontractors, fabricators, suppliers. Within this, planning engineers, budgeting, safety, QA/QC, construction management professionals. All of these people, what are their roles with respect to BIM? Coming into asset management, the asset managers, and then the building management system teams, and the asset handover team, and the user and the client, what are their roles with respect to BIM? These are all very clearly defined in the part 7. Including this, as I said, BIM is 20% building the model, to 80% is using the model which is built. A detailed tabular construction is coming in. How do you generate BIM in the brownfield project and the greenfield project? And then how does different stakeholders use BIM across the life cycle supply chain? So this has been very clearly documented in that part 7 of NBC. And then part 12, which is for asset management part, which is coming detailed with how BIM model gets utilized for asset operations. This is with respect to NBC contents, public comments. It's already for public comments. Comments have come and we are incorporating that, and probably in next 1 or 2 months, it will be out for the market with respect to NBC. Coming into the BIM guidelines, national BIM guidelines separate for the owners and contractors and service providers. Maybe 2-3 months more than that, we'll be having the draft out for public comments in another 1 or 2 months. So, which will be kind of a enabler or a guideline for each of these stakeholders. What are their actual roles in terms of BIM? Because BIM, it's not a technology, it's about information management, and it's an actual usage. It is not so complicated. And what is happening is there is a new layer of BIM professionals which have come in the market, like a production team and the specialist coordinators, managers, and then the advisory leadership in the companies. These are the new roles which are coming in. Roughly 30, 40 BIM roles have come in. This is also a confusion in the market because what role, how do they go for next levels? This is also one concern what people, someone is working as a modeler for almost 10 years, coordinator for almost for 3, 4 years. They're not going further in the roles. Defining is also very important. We are addressing that part also. And also we are attaching the templates and guidelines, along with the guidelines, we are attaching the templates and the workflows which can enable client, contractor, and service providers in terms of enabling BIM in their projects. These are the things with respect to NBC contents. We are in fact defining very clearly about the functionalities of BIM softwares, because BIM software today, you have at least 25 to 30 tech vendors in India. Many of us are understanding only Autodesk, Revit, Civil 3D, Navisworks, and things. And also there is a concern about open BIM and closed BIM. So we are very clearly categorizing the open BIM requirements in the project, because end-to-end project delivery for a seamless integration, open BIM is very much important. And closed BIM applications will not entertain other platform people to come in the project, because this becomes a barricade. And open BIM is also very well addressed in the documents. And the next important thing is the common data environment, which we all speak about different platforms for managing the data, what is getting generated. So we have been very clearly specifying that whatever data gets stored should be within the Indian soil. It should not sit in somewhere in China, Russia, and so on. Currently, most of the tech vendors platforms data, they are letting us make it sit in other countries. We are not having our data sitting in our countries, it's sitting in some other country. So it becomes a little concern on the kind of data security part, including for the public sector projects. And the most important thing is, BIM is not a software. So we are very categorically spelling it out about the functionalities of the softwares which are, today in the name of BIM, people are selling softwares. It's not nothing beyond that which is happening. And the return on investment is just in the presentation slides. It's not coming in the actual ROI documentation. It's a strategic drive which is required in the companies, to understand what is the budget for the transformation. Okay, how many years I'm going to go for transformation, next 2 to 3 years or 1 to 2 years. And when you know the budget for each year, then you obviously have the budget for seamless procurement of software, hardware, and staffing, training, partnerships, enabling BIM in the services in the projects. Today, my understanding in the market is BIM, most of the time it's happening the basics. 90% of the market is mainly driving about how to build a model, which is good foundations for the country to start with the 20%, because most of the companies in India has evolved in the sector of BIM by giving services to foreign countries, clients, where they wanted a basic services of converting CAD to BIM and updating the information, drawing production and things. But when it comes to Indian projects, it cannot be limited to just building the models and drawings. Every stakeholder need to use the models which is built. So all these things are very detailedly addressed. We have taken almost 1 year, closely working on developing these separate 3 guidelines with all the stakeholders from each of these phases, like clients, contractors, and service providers involved in it. Hope these guidelines should be able to help most of us in the further developments and transformation.
Dr. Amarnath, can we wind up now, or is it?
Sir, this is what I wanted to update to the team.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And I have got one question for you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
My question is, with our first presentation of Kumar's, he introduced us. He had one slide which was showing us all the different parts of the ISO which governs BIM. Whatever the number was, it was some 5-digit number. And there was part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, like that, which covers a particular aspect of BIM. Now, if that is there, if an ISO standard is there, why was the need for us to have another standard in NBC? Why?
Sir, simple thing, we are a JC people, sir. We don't follow foreigners. And it may not be workable because we don't have ISO annexures in India. Any country to follow this ISO part 1 to part 5, they need to have their national annexures.
Correct.
So obviously we have IS codes. We are Desi people. I don't know if someone want to follow British, they can follow. But as per the Indian projects and public client requirements, we are developing our guidelines, which is
No,
more
but
workable for Indian market. And
my
those
question,
guidelines, yeah, please
my
go ahead.
question to you, since this ISO standard was that, has that been used as a benchmark while developing this standard?
No, sir. Sir, I'm coming from a background where I closely work with almost 20 countries, people who have developed their guidelines for their countries.
Okay.
My doctorate itself is in BIM. So we are
Okay.
not taking only ISO 19650. We are looking into 20, 30 countries BIM guidelines
Okay.
in the process of evolving. Even today, many countries, including Singapore and other countries who are matured in BIM, they are not following ISO alone.
All right.
They have their local guidelines.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the answer. It's rare. Okay, there's one question which someone has asked over here. Will the BIM guidelines address linear infrastructure projects like rail, road, etc.?
So the guidelines is for complete built environment.
Okay.
So not limiting to buildings or infrastructure, including for smart cities, it is applicable.
Thank you, Dr. Amarnath, for giving us this leeway on what's happening. Yeah, we are aware that there are drafts for a wide circulation of different parts of the NBC, but they're already there for wide circulation now, which have been for some months, but there are many parts. As you know, NBC is so complicated. There are 12 parts and so many subsections and whatnot. So anyway, having said that, thank you very much for your presentation. And now what we are going to do is we are going to move on to a general questions and discussions on the overall, all the presentations that we've had so far. Yeah, we would like to open that up to people and ask any questions that they have. And maybe I can go through one or two questions which are quite interesting, which people have asked for to start this ball rolling, right? Someone asked a question like which you touched, Dr. Amarnath, also on data security. Someone has asked that how does one look at data security in a BIM model or in whatever you have, because there's a lot of data there, right? Or even in your, so I don't know who can answer that and who is.
Well, I can address this, sir.
Right.
The most
Please do.
important thing is
Yeah.
somewhere in 2010, when I joined IT Delhi that time, that's the
Okay.
time where this cloud computing CDE platforms came
Okay.
in picture.
All right.
So I did a deeper research at that time, 15 years back now. The key thing here is, there are two different options. One, you can store it on your desktop versions within your own server, second, and then storing it on the cloud platforms. Now, when you are storing it on the cloud platforms of different tech vendors, you have to get it clear that is the data going to stay in the local soil or it's going to be sitting in some other country, and where the backup is going to happen. If it is sitting in some country, where the backups are going to happen. If the data is sitting in Russia, for example, is backup going to happen in China? So these are the things which comes into storage of data in other countries. Some countries have very well addressed it, saying that any technology vendor going to sell their CD platforms in particular countries, they have to make sure their data sits on the local soil. They have made it mandate.
Okay.
And we are also trying to drive this into the guidelines because this is one thing which may not be aware for many people. So we are taking public sector projects and putting into BIM 360 where data is sitting in some other country, backed up into some other country.
Right.
So these are all the data security issues which may come with respect to any technology, not limited to Autodesk or Bentley or Trimble, because there are 30, 40 players in the market today. It's a mandatory thing we have to put for them that any client, when you're practicing BIM, so make it clear that if they're ready to set up the CD platforms on your local servers.
Yeah, there are two aspects to that. Number one is, okay, you can put a stipulation like that it should be on a local server. But how do you check that it's actually happening? The cloud, whatever your cloud data is being stored the way you want it. And it's not, someone says yes and does something else. How do you ensure that?
So, well, if you ask me who has to take the CD strategy, I would say client authority should take a CD strategy. He has to decide, because when a client, he will have multiple projects. When he is dealing with any particular tech vendor, there will be legal documentation which will be done. And also you can also check with the IT people, cross-check with where the data is getting secured. And also it's a legal framework, sir. It's not just that,
No,
we are asking and they are saying.
That is one aspect. But what makes us feel that having data stored on our soil, as you put it, is saying that our data is secure, because looking at the number of scams we have in our country and whatnot, which is going on, what makes us feel that data stored in our country is safe?
Sir, obviously, you won't put your, for example, if I'm having some important information, I'll not put into my relatives also, right? I'll try to keep it safe in my home. Even though there may be theft which may happen in my home, I still feel safer in my home, right? It's the same scenario, sir. Why would you try to keep your data in some other country's soil? You can see there are a lot of wars which are happening. If the data is leaked to different regions, this also becomes a concerning thing.
No, my
So maybe
my question is a little different. My question is that what are the checks and balances we have to ensure that the data on our soil is secure?
obviously with the tech vendors, you have to cross verify, sir. IT people does it. I don't know much about how they cross verify it.
Okay. All right. Anybody else would like to get into this discussion on whatever any other issues which came in? Because I thought this thing of data security was a very general question rather than being specific, and at the same time a very important question. So much data we are talking about, whether it's project implementation, whether it's operational information after a particular asset has gone into operation. And there's so much data which we're talking about. How is that data kept secure and staying within the precincts of where it is supposed to happen and not going to somebody else? Yeah.
So first thing is obviously we can think of having it local servers within that deployment. That may be easier way to deal with. Or even for public projects, there is a NIC, right, which can take care of storing the data within these platforms. Some government initiatives taken for the public sector projects to have the data stored and giving the access to tech vendors to using this for enabling their CD platforms. This may be one way. It should be an initiative which should be driven, sir. Today, I think most of the 90% of the companies who are using CD platforms, all their data sitting in other countries, not in India, at least. 90% of the CD platforms data.
Yeah. Okay, Charles, I think it's time we wind up and hand it over to Chetan.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, Charles. Thank you, Malsa.
Yeah.
So excellent event, excellent session. Now, as you all know that all good things have to come to an end, but an happy ending cannot be without vote of thanks. So, and also with this happy ending, there is a new beginning, which Malsab has, touched upon. I'm going to deliberate on that. Is announcement of a workshop on XR extended reality AI for engineering and construction industry. This will be a physical workshop which is planned to be held on 13th of September 2025 at Indian Merchant Center, Churchgate, Mumbai. The timing will be from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and there is a limited participation since it's a physical event, and the registrations will be open perhaps in August, and it will be communicated to everyone. So with this, as an honorary secretary and treasurer of CAI Western Regional Center, it gives me immense pleasure and pride to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of CAI for today's enriching webinar. So first and foremost, I would like to thank our esteemed speakers, Mr. Krishna Karwa, Mr. Varun Panchal, Mr. Suhas Bhagwat, Mr. Tuhin Jana, and Dr. Amarnath for sharing their insights and expertise with such clarity and depth. Each presentation highlighted the transformative role of digital technologies in engineering and project management, from BIM to digital twins to XR and Power BI, and reminded us that innovation is not just desirable, but it is essential. A special word of thanks to our moderators, Mr. Charles Simos and Mr. Suhas Bhagwat, for steering the session seamlessly and creating space for thought-provoking discussion. To the leadership at CAI, Dr. Harshvardhan Subbarao, Mr. Mal, Mr. Alok Bhaumik, and Mr. Prashant Kapila, thank you for your vision and guidance in promoting meaningful knowledge exchange through initiatives like this. To our participants across disciplines, your presence and engagement made this session truly collaborative and impactful. Finally, I thank CI Academy team and my colleagues at CI WRC for their tireless behind the scenes efforts in organizing this event and ensuring its smooth execution. Let us carry forward the knowledge shared today into our professional practices and continue embracing innovation and excellence as we shape the future of engineering. Thank you once again and wish you all continued success. So without further ado, I would like to say goodbye to all. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Chetan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a nice
Thank you all.
evening.
Thank you.